It is a funny thing, right? Because I started when I was 3, so that's like 60 years of acting.
30 years? What?
60 years. 60 years. Yes.
28.
Of being in the business. And yes, I've never done anything else. It's the only skill I have, I guess, the only world that I've ever lived in. And yet, it's a kind of a cruel joke.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for coming in today. Private Life is such a great film.
Thank
Rebecca,
you.
my first question for you. On the surface, when you read the synopsis of the movie, it feels so serious, but it's so funny and so incredible the way it unfolds. How did you find that balance in creating this, and why did you make this?
I mean, it's like me, when you say incredibly serious, but so funny, like in civil life. Also, I'm Jewish, you know, so it's exactly like the kind of like culture I come from. It's like being melancholical, but still like, you know, hilarious and sometimes like very funny while being like, you know, in Shoah jokes. So I feel that in a way, A Private Life is like connected to that culture. And Jodie told me that. She came to me like one day and she said like, did you hear about the D books? Which is like, you know, in the Yiddish like culture, those ghosts, but it's also like, you know, people that died too young and that come anyway. Maybe this is like the D-book vibe of the film.
Awesome. Jodie, I believe you've spoken French in other movies before, but this is your first time as a lead.
Yes.
And a mutual friend of ours, Julie Huntsinger, head of Telluride,
Yes.
when I was interviewing her ahead of the festival, she was like, I've always known she could speak French fluently, and I was so excited she finally got to do it, and was just talking up, and it was... I had no idea. So has this just been brewing inside of you for many decades?
Well, I had made a few films in French, but I'd never had so much dialogue. So that was a big challenge. It was probably one of the first draws to making the project after reading the script and, of course, from meeting Rebecca. I've always wanted to make a real French movie that was, you know, not a big bloated American-French co-production, but a real French film that felt French, that had an entirely French team, and that was about the French experience. So that was my opportunity.
How long was the shoot?
How long was the shoot? It wasn't that long.
It felt like 2 days, but it was like maybe 7 weeks, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And spoke French the whole time on set?
Yeah, and I came early. I came about 3 weeks.
1 month before.
Yeah, because I was concerned that I wasn't going to be ready. So
she trained, she went to the gym and she worked out a lot. And I was like, yeah, sure, I do the same, sort of. Yeah, but it was like, yeah. She has this superpower. To me, it's like a Marvel superpower for an actress. It's like we knew as French directors that she would speak that fluently French. Mm-hmm. But I was like, do we lack imagination? What's the vibe? What? And why isn't she like, you know, more like a French actress? And I think that we are going to kidnap her for a long time. I've been receiving so many emails and phone calls from people I feel bad to. I'm very possessive too. I
want to play Kristen Scott Thomas's sister. Because we're the two people that speak French, you know, fluently. So I'm like, me and Kristen, we can do this together.
You can't put that out there. Do you have a project in mind?
Excuse me?
Do you have a project in mind? Like what you would want to?
I don't, but I think it's a great idea. And we've known each other for a long time. So I'm going to come knocking at her door. And she's a director now. So I'm like, just direct us in a movie where we play sisters.
You're both directors, to be clear. But yes, we will.
I'm here.
Here
Can I do something?
Go do it. The film touches on religion in very subtle ways. Can we talk about the messaging and what was the intentionality behind that and what we want audiences to take from it?
It's not about, to me, it's not about religion. It's much more about, the seen and the unseen. It's about, revealing stuff, repressed desires, super ego. You know, all those words that come from psychoanalysis, language, that to me connect to the cinematic language. And it was much more about, what you see. Sometimes you strive for it to have a sense, a meaning. And you fall into those rabbit holes, that pretends that there are something else behind. But you know what? Eventually, it's just that. So it may be probably, and I'm not a religious person, but I'm culturally anchored in a culture. And I feel that, maybe this is just it, and that just it is just cinema.
Thank you. Jodie, 2 Oscars in your house.
Yes.
You've become very selective about your projects. So what does it take for you to say yes to people these days? And why'd you say yes to Rebecca?
I think I've been selective for a long time, right? Because I was a child actor, and so, of course, I worked a lot, and then I got burned out very young. So I understood that I wanted to have a full life, and I wanted to be a full person, and that meant that I had to make fewer projects. And for me, I wasn't born to be an actor. It was just something that happened to me when I was a kid. I don't know that I would have been an actor. So I don't know how to act unless there's real personal relevance. So somebody said I was going to play, I was going to make a movie on Mars, and they came to me and said, would the Martian be wearing green or blue? I'd be like, I don't know. I really wouldn't have an answer. So I have to have a real personal relevance to everything that I make. And that means I just work less.
Yeah. It's crazy that you say you don't think you were born to be an actor, because I can't imagine a world where you're not here acting, because it would be such a sad Hollywood.
It is a funny thing, right? Because I started when I was 3, so that's like 60 years of acting.
30 years? What?
60 years. 60 years. Yes.
28.
Of being in the business. And yes, I've never done anything else. It's the only skill I have, I guess, the only world that I've ever lived in. And yet it's a kind of a cruel joke, because I'm not somebody who was meant to be emotions forward. I'm not. I was born as somebody who was stronger intellectually and was careful about my feelings. And maybe that's what's made my work interesting to people, was that I wasn't, most people come to acting when they're 25 and they're like, I want to be an actor so I can dance on the table and show everyone who I am. And I was like, I'm not meant to be an actor. And so I have a different approach to my work, I think, than most people.
Awesome. Thank you. This is a question for both of you. We are here at the Toronto Film Festival.
Yes.
There's a lot of kick-ass films from some kick-ass women
Yes.
that are directing the hell out of movies. What is your current opinion on the opportunities in Hollywood? Are we moving in the right direction? And has this put the bug in one of you to maybe get behind the camera again that we've been waiting for a while?
That's nice. I think this is meant for me. Well, as you know, because I grew up in the film industry in America, I never saw another woman really growing up. I never saw another woman except for the script supervisor and the makeup artist occasionally. So I grew up with brothers and fathers, and I was almost always the only woman on the job. And these wonderful men taught me everything that I know about filmmaking. And so I have a real soft spot for all of these men that surrounded me, 175 men on a crew. And it really wasn't until I say, halfway through my career that women started to come into the picture, first as technicians and then as producers, writers, producers, studio heads. And the last thing that changed was women directors. I did one movie with a woman director when I was 20-something, one. And then never again until my last 3 films. I did all with women. So it's been an interesting journey I was always alone, never with other women, and now suddenly there are other women, and it's such a wonderful sisterhood. So I am looking forward to going behind the camera again. And but I also, I love serving the director, and that's what I said to Rebecca when we first met. Is I'm here to serve your vision. It's not my movie. I'm here to just serve your vision, and it's wonderful to serve the vision of a woman.
And I almost cried when you said, I was like pinching myself, like, are you? But that's funny, because I feel that as a cinephile, the directors, the filmmakers that I love in US are like 50, 60%. Of course, there's very few of them, but Joan McLean Silver, Nora Ephron, Nancy Meyers, Claudia Weil, even if they're just like, some of them, not all of them, disappeared quite quickly because of the production system, they're like still very, very strong to me as a filmmaker.
Yeah, and they were the real pioneers at that time. And they came from within the industry, right? So they came up
absolutely
starting as something else in order to become directors. We didn't have like you guys did in Europe, where they came from film school and immediately were directors. That didn't happen in the United States.
Rebecca, admit to say, I haven't seen a lot of your films before. I saw this one, and I was like, please give me more of her. But you've only directed French language films. Is there any interest in doing any English language in any point in time and do a reverse Jodie situation?
I mean, my English is not good enough for me to be able to direct now, but also I like the country of cinema I'm in. Never say never, but till now I'm very happy to rob and kidnap actresses from abroad, especially when they have I'm not an erotomaniac. I mean, I do that only when I know that they like French first. So I'm like, just come on, be my guest and let's do something together. But the freedom I have as a filmmaker, author, director, the French way, the freedom I have, the writing, the possibilities, the low budgets that allow me not to be too mainstream, I just have that in France right now. If it changes, I would be more than happy to go somewhere else.
When you look at younger generations that are looking up to both of you, especially young women that want to get into this business, what's that piece of advice that you feel like people still need to learn or know about wanting to do this, especially when they feel like it's the only thing that they ever want or know how to do?
I'm in no position to give advice to anyone, especially with the kind of I like to party, but I would say that be friends with other directors. Create a community of directors that you are friends with. I don't know who said that in Italy. Cinecittà just stopped because they kept yelling at each other. They hated each other at the end. Eventually, not only that, but But I feel for instance, in France, we are a strong community of directors, and especially female directors. Justine Triet, Juliette Ducournau, Audrey Diwan, Céline Sciamma, all of them, Elena Klotz. So many female directors that do very well in the festival, circuit. And I feel that at this job, and I feel that this is something that helps me a lot.
For me, that was really helpful. I want to do that. But for me, it's the same advice that I give to actors as I would give to directors, which is to be yourself and not be tempted to try to be somebody else. So to try to imitate somebody else or to try to look like somebody else or, that kind of temptation that we have as insecure people of wanting to grab from the experience of others, even if they're people that you admire and you respect, you can learn from them without becoming them. And for me, that was very important. I talk about some of the directors that I've worked with, besides Rebecca, who are some of my favorite directors, like David Fincher or Claude Chabrol or, Spike Lee, Martin Scorsese. I've watched them from behind the camera, looking over their shoulder, saying, how did they make these decisions? And yet I don't make movies I don't make those movies. I don't want to make those movies. I just want to see how they decide, how they make choices.
That's great.
And so another advice, work a lot.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are like, oh, she seems confident. I'm like, I just work a lot. You need to.
I want to hear that one too.
Jodie, it's always important to look a little bit outside of this for a minute. Nicolas Cage, you might know him, is stepping into True Detective.
Yes, he is.
What's some advice for Nick jumping into the world of solving murders?
Oh, gosh. First and foremost, go have dinner with Issa Lopez and, grill her for everything because she's such an amazing collaborator and a great friend and, a wonderful director. I think they're gonna get along famously. For me, it was such an honor to inherit the legacy of the first True Detective with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. But I love what the evolution has been and what Issa Lopez was able to do. So I think it's just embrace the feeling of True Detective, but allow it to be your own.
Rebecca, do you have anything up your sleeve that you're working on next after A Private Life?
She's working right now.
This started on the festival circuit at Cannes, and you've been making many, many stops. And I'm always like, great, I love this movie. I want to know when I get my next Rebecca joint.
It's going to be, I'm shooting actually in a couple of weeks, the beginning of a TV series, but absolutely different. I cannot say like anything on it, except that it's going to be fun.
Yes, great.
I hope. Fun and like kind of like, and yeah, and very young and new faces, like the opposites.
Do you have any Americans on loan, like you had with Jodie?
Americans what?
Do you have any Americans?
That you borrowed, that speak French?
No.
Jodie.
I'll say no.
No, just Jodie?
Just Jodie.
Just
Just
Jodie.
Jodie.
But she's worked with Natalie Portman and Lily Rose Depp,
Yeah, I
both
did.
of whom speak French beautifully.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have been lucky enough. And I was in Toronto with this film, like, 10 years ago. It's called Planetarium. And so it was not my first time, like, I did it again. I just, like, borrow, like, those amazing actresses. Lily Rose Depp, it was, like, kind of like her first role.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. And they play in the 30s, sisters.
Something of this ensemble. We have Kristen Scott Thomas, Natalie Portman, Lily Rose Depp,
Yeah.
and Jodie Foster.
Okay, yeah.
It's a party.
French.
It's a party. Let's
Rebecca,
do
I
that.
think I gave you your next film project.
I'm in.
Now.
I'm in.
Yeah.
No, don't start me. I'm in.
All right, final question. Again, movie's fantastic. People are going to experience it, and it's not going to be what they see, what it seems like, and it's going to really surprise people. What do you want people to take away from the movie as a whole for both of you, and what you want them to know about your experience?
Pleasure, meaning, and probably look at their own secrets, would say.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. I think for me, what's different about it, right, and why it's a European film, is that it's allowed to have many genres. It doesn't stick to one. It's not just a thriller or just a mystery or just a romantic comedy or just an intricate psychological drama. It's all of that. And I think that's what I really love about European filmmaking is that there are no rules and you're allowed to challenge the rules. And in this case, this film challenges, the rule of one genre.
So you do this again? Yeah.
Oh yeah. We had a great time. We ate well.
Right, well.
We do 8 hours a day.
Yeah, she was like, is this...
Are you kidding me? This is it? It was great.
French way.
Where did you eat? What was some of the best French
At the
food you had?
canteen.
Canteen, and we had a canteen, and I was like, do you think, like, is this all right? And she was like, this is delicious. Never seen an actress, like, eating so, like, with pleasure, like, everything we had. Also, we had, anyway, red wine sometimes.
Do
Not
you cook,
her.
Rebecca?
Sorry?
Do you cook amazing French food?
Absolutely not. I mean, like, I cannot say that.
She
If not
orders
my husband
very
would-
well. She orders meze very well.
I can do banana bread, and that's it. I mean, like, if my husband watched that, and he's going to just, like, burst into laugh because I don't cook.
I
I don't
like
cook.
banana bread. That's fine.
Do you cook?
My wife is the best cook I know. But
You cook? You
I
cook.
cook, but I don't like
First
to. but I do.
time we met, you organized like such a table. I went to Los Angeles. I was shaking and shivering because, man. I mean, like, and she just said like, "Yeah, go to my place. Do you know Uber?" And I was like, "Yes, I know." Drove to her place and like so many things. And she was like, "I think French people love to eat, so let's have like a lot of food." And I was so excited that I just opened the script and we've been working like for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Did not eat at all.
that's why Jodie's best.